Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The day is here. Jaden Davis's recruitment finally comes to a close and commits to the University of Michigan. Though we've been talking a lot about how special this 2024 class can be. Jaden Davis was the cornerstone of this class. He locks in his commitment. We have the quarterback of our future, and this is something that is massive for the program moving forward. Before we get into it, though, again, I just want to say thank you to you guys. I got my Michigan Lucky Socks. We've been talking a lot in the comment sections about the fans doing their part. Socks haven't been washed in weeks. They can finally be washed. Jaden Davis coming to Ann Arbor. But y'all, if you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Going to be recapping the spring game tomorrow as well, so stay locked in for that. We appreciate all the support you guys have shown. Dill, I'm going to kick this one off to you. Early takes, Jaden Davis coming to Ann Arbor.
I mean, we've been saying it. This was the battle that needed to be won. It certainly makes it a little extra sweet that it comes at Ohio State's expense. And obviously, after losing Raiola, they'd certainly made their charge at Jaden Davis. But again, for Michigan to win this battle, these are the type of things you need to do to be really good every year and continue on what Michigan's building, quite honestly.
Yeah, that was something that, I think early on in Jim Harbaugh's tenure at Michigan is something that just was falling short of expectations, and that's probably a reason why we were falling short of expectations on the field. Is the quarterback recruitment wasn't great, but the development certainly wasn't great. Like, you brought in some talented guys, Dylan McCaffrey, Joe Milton, but the development was certainly not there. But guys, landing guy like J.J. McCarthy, now Jaden Davis, you're starting to see recruiting the quarterback position better, and the development with J.J. McCarthy and ideally Jaden Davis as well is getting a lot better too. At Michigan, this program is looking clean for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly, again, we've gone now two cycles essentially where no big time quarterback commits, and again, like once you push that number two, it's like, well, your current guy is draft eligible. If he's playing really well, you're definitely in danger of losing him. So this is probably what made this one huge, because obviously they didn't get Dante Moore last year, and again, you can't string too many years by without getting your guy in.
This is so massive for a couple of reasons. One, I love the quarterback timeline. Like we talk about it. If J.J. McCarthy's going to the NFL after next year, I'm going to be completely happy with that, because that means we won another Big Ten championship, probably won or was at least close to winning another national championship if J.J. McCarthy's going to the draft. And then if not, J.J. McCarthy's coming back for year 4. Jaden Davis is going to be able to sit behind him and be ready for year 2. Like, the quarterback runway is extremely – you feel so good about it. And then another thing I just want to shout out, Kirk Campbell doing a phenomenal job. That was kind of the last box Jaden Davis wanted to check before committing to Ann Arbor. But Matt Weiss built up a strong relationship with him, obviously gets relieved of his duties. Jaden Davis is committing to Jim Harbaugh, and there's no doubt about that, and that's why the recruitment slowed down a little bit as Jim was kicking around the NFL. But he also wanted to check the box of Kirk Campbell. Kirk Campbell, from all accounts, doing a phenomenal job with J.J. McCarthy, and Jaden Davis was extremely impressed on his last visit and no doubt led to that commitment. You feel great about the young coaching staff Jim Harbaugh has surrounding himself with, and then the potential of this 2024 class is just absolutely silly.
No, at the end of the day, what I just want to see is I want to see that top end talent in the passing game. And in Michigan for the past 2 years,
yes,
has risen to dominance, if you will, in at least in the Big Ten, on the back of being way more physical than everyone else, playing better defense than everyone else, and not making a ton of mistakes. Frankly, turning the ball over really is been non-existent for the past couple of years. But I think to get to that next gear, you need to see a little more on the edge. And you look at how Georgia, when they were first kind of coming up, they were a big, heavy team that gave a lot of teams a lot of problems, but they didn't have that offensive attack that Alabama had when they were really humming, or when LSU was really, really good, or Ohio State. So that's kind of been the missing piece for Michigan. I'm hoping with JJ's not first full year.
You saw like JJ towards the end of the year, like Purdue, and then even the TCU game, like that explosive passing game came to fruition finally. And again, I think it gets so much easier to recruit those top end wide receivers when you have a 5-star quarterback like JJ or Jaden Davis locked in. I think a lot of these Like, imagine you being a top-end wide receiver in your high school class, looking around at where you want to play, like Michigan under Pep Hamilton. Like, did you want to go play for Michigan when they're running two tight ends and running the ball at 65% of the plays without an elite level quarterback? No, you didn't. You didn't see yourself succeeding there. I think Michigan is turning into a program where those elite wide receivers see themselves putting up big time numbers and being successful. And I think that's kind of the last key that we need to unlock on the offense side of the ball. We're going to be able to pound you in the face, run the football, especially heading into next year with Blake Corum, Donnie Edwards, and the like 20 offensive line guys who could be starters on almost any other Power 5 team. Can you hit those explosives? That is something big that Michigan struggled with at times in 2022. That's going to be the story heading into 2023.
That's what you want to see. You want to see Roman Wilson and Cornelius Johnson have really good years. Colston Loveland put another really good year up, and then maybe a little Darius Clemens, Tyler Morris. Like you want to see
the young pups.
You just want to see everybody kind of come into their own and have someone go for 1,000 yards, maybe two guys. Again, that's just what you need to do.
That's why Ohio State's recruited the wide receiver.
It's so hard to play really good offense all the time when you can't throw the ball, and you saw that against teams like Illinois. Like there were just times this year where it wasn't consistent. The wide receivers weren't making enough plays. I mean, everything just wasn't quite coming together until really the TCU game, when honestly the offense threw the ball really well. All the wideouts looked really good, but that again, it's just if JJ can put a really great year together, go pro. If then Jaden can step in, put some really good years together, that's kind of the next step of the evolution. That's what Michigan needs to get to.
Jaden Davis, I think, puts Michigan in a really good spot to recruit some wide receivers, not only in this 2024 class, but 2025 as well. Like you even think of Channing Goodwin, his wide receiver that he plays with at Providence Day out there in North Carolina. Crystal ball to Michigan. This would probably get that commitment, or at least make them real comfortable committing to Michigan. That's a top 100 dude nationally, one of the best wide receivers in the class. Wide receivers, you even look at Texas last year when they got the commitment from Arch Manning. Like you saw 2 or 3 wide receivers commit to Texas right after. They want to play with the elite quarterbacks. They want to have a guy that they can trust throwing them the football. Jaden Davis, the second best quarterback in this 2024 class, is certainly that dude. And one thing I want to know, this is the class I really do think that could kind of flip the script with this Ohio State rivalry. Dylan Raiola being locked into Ohio State in that 2024 class, not only did it hurt their quarterback, the recruit in that position in 2024, it hurt them in 2023 too. Like they did not land that 5-star quarterback that you're so used to Ohio State landing every 2 years, because whoever was committing to Ohio State in 2023 knew Dylan Raiola was coming in 2024. Now Dylan Raiola backs off his commitment. Ohio State misses out on 2023. Jaden Davis was one of the last top premier passers of the football in this 2024 class. Ohio State, if they don't land Aaron Nolan next week, looks like they might be holding the bag. This seemingly is a massive swing in that rivalry.
Yeah, and 100%. And that's just, again, this, like, at the end of the day, that's the most important position. They needed to make it happen in 24.
And they did.
Because if you didn't, like, you're looking at kind of looking out in the abyss a little bit, and you're relying on some guys who knows if they'll be good, but they didn't come in to be the face of the program. That's for sure.
Hey, Blake Frazier, Channing Goodwin, like, come join this 2024 class. We were talking about how special could this 2024 class be. And Jaden Davis to the group, you're feeling like this could be a top 5, top 3 class. And with you couple that with Michigan's player development the last couple of years, especially like shout out Ben Herbert, like this, everything's coming up maize and blue right now. Like I feel this is about as confident and as pumped up I've been for this Michigan program in my fandom. And that's remembering guys like Denard Robinson. This is as confident as I've been with this Michigan football team. And one thing I want to do before we close this out, obviously just wanted to hop on, talk some ball as Jaden Davis. This is massive for Michigan. Take a look at the number 1 prospect in that 2025 class that's also slated to take a visit to Michigan. David Sanders, 6'6", 260, number 1 player in the country. Where does he go to high school as well? Providence Day. Jaden Davis playing 7-on-7 with so many of these top guys. I think he's going to do a phenomenal job recruiting the 2024 class. I think he's going to do kind of like what Montrez Walker's doing, recruiting the 2025 class. This, when you land a guy of the caliber of Jaden Davis, just like when we did J.J. McCarthy, it helps recruit all the other positions. You got to be feeling so good if you're a Michigan fan. Again, spring game coming up tomorrow. This is about as excited as I felt for a Michigan spring game as well. About as healthy as we've been. J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback one. I know we have some injuries, but there's a lot of young pups that I'm very excited to see play on Saturday. So again, if you do enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel, get locked in, celebrating a commitment today, taking a look at the spring game tomorrow. Appreciate all the support Michigan and all you Michigan fans have shown. Again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Lock in. We appreciate you guys for real, and we'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.